When we get stuck in a rut in the sense of productivity, in the sense of creativity, um, we find we hit a wall, we hit a plateau. What we tend to do, I find, um, observing others, but also from my own experience, is that we will we will change our environment, and that can mean finding. So let's say you find that the people you live with or you see on day in day out basis are not as supportive, or kind of you feel constrained by them or held back by them, or certainly not supported enough by them for you to um, not have those doubts, right? So you have those doubts because those most close to you physically are not exactly, like I say, approving or liking everything you do or whatever. So what we then tend to do is change our environment. So we'd go to a group where we have support, and online, let's say, whatever, and we end up um, re reigniting this spark, the productivity spark, the creativity spark, because we are surrounded by people that feed it. But what happens, I find, is that soon you will find that the same dynamic of relying on their approval, however well meaning they are, however lovely group of people they may be, the moment you start relying, finding yourself that you actually care what they think, but that's the reason you join them. So you kind of like are already tripping yourself up the moment you join them, even though you feel like you relieved yourself from the one bad lot. You may have not entered another bad lot, but you have entered a group of people, and that dynamic of, oh, they're the ones who are helping me and feeding my productivity and creativity. They're the ones who are nurturing me and nourishing me and inspiring and motivating me and keeping me on track and keeping me accountable and all that. But you will outgrow them. It's just the nature. It's just the life works like that. You will, and but you will have been bound by so many of these, like, oh, they've been so helpful. They have, the connections are there or whatever, or you essentially have built your sense of worth through them. Um, so you're faced with the same problem, even though these people are, and as you go along, you'll find that each time the group is more evolved and more easy to deal with and more easy to leave. But you essentially always end up finding yourself in that really awkward and painful spot of like having to extricate yourself from the people who you just realize actually are not really supportive enough anymore. Like I say, the first lot usually parents and family, and the ones we had no choice and were born in, always the tough, the most obvious ones. It's like they're the easiest to leave in many ways because that's so obviously bad for us, because they just don't get it, they don't care, and it's their life is not, nothing may be personal, but still, like a loud, um, or whatever, sapping of creativity. It's like so in your face. There's no subtlety there. It's like, oh, well, maybe they actually mean well. No, you just know that they're just not supporting you in your endeavor, let's say. But then you move to the next, like I say. So moving along each time to a new group, you'll find that more and more. I would imagine I certainly have. Like they're evolved because you're evolved, and but each time, like I say, there is this moment of like actually they become a constraint, because the premise, the bottom line, the reason you ever joined them is because you needed external support to feel like you have a permission to create your thing. And that's at the root of lack of productivity. It's like we feel, oh, who are we to create? Who are we to do this, produce this thing? Who are we to have our own business? Who are we to write our book, our memoir or our novel or whatever, or make a film or whatever? Create a painting, go to, whatever it is, right? This who are we critical voice comes from the group, usually from that kind of early parent. But as you move along, that who are we is not as harsh and brash, but it's still like, well, who are you without that group? Because you went to them to give you that you, which will create. Do you see what I mean? So the problem with creativity is when we keep looking for permission outside of ourselves. And the problem with productivity is that we're looking for a permission to produce, to keep doing this thing that we want to do. And there is a flip side to productivity, particularly is that sometimes the lack of motivation is purely because we are producing something that is not for us, but we're doing it for others. Not literally, not like I'm creating this book so that you can use it, not anyone else. So not in that sense for others, but in the sense of that is because you see everyone else doing it. It sounds like a good idea, and maybe you could do it, and you're probably good at it, but you soon hit the wall because actually your heart's not in it, because your motivation is again outside of you. So sorry, it always comes back to She Maverick and just doing it alone, going it alone, doing it your own way, being your own way, and going it alone. Really, just going it alone. Right, still haven't really figured out how to do this smoothly and the video on my thing, but hey, see you tomorrow.